Hello and welcome to Grumpy Old Men. I am joined by some of the grumpiest. Yes, Kevin O'Sullivan and Mike Graham. Welcome. We are going to kick off with Mike and people with oversized suitcases.
Yeah, so have you noticed that people now don't travel with ordinary sized suitcases?
Yes.
I don't know what's going on, but people have got these ludicrously large suitcases now.
Massive.
Massive, which they take on public transport.
What?
They take them on public transport.
Particularly tubes.
Particularly
the
the
tube.
tube.
Can't get on the damn
And
thing.
you can't actually get one of these things onto a tube train very easily. I happen to be the victim of some of these
victim?
people. A victim, yes.
Okay. A victim of a
He's
suitcase.
playing the victim card.
I'm afraid so, because this happened just the other day. I finished my show, as I normally do. I went down into the London Bridge station, through the barriers, and there were these two Chinese people, right? A man and a woman. I presume they were married. Both with these gigantic suitcases. They're practically as big as they
bigger
were.
than them.
Right.
Do you think they had their children in the suitcases?
Like, who knows? I mean, they could have had all vapes in
no,
there.
well, I don't know.
You
They're
know,
big enough they could just...
you could put children in them. They're that big.
Cheap
and
vape.
of course, you know, they then tried to navigate getting on the escalator, right? And I thought, should I tell them there's a lift over there? Because that's really where you should go with these ridiculous suitcases.
Yeah.
Because I thought it's none of my business. I'll just let them go. So they went in front of me, right? And so the guy's standing.
I'm just trying to say, this is so unlike you. None of my business.
Well, you know, I'd spoken.
What are you not doing? Get off that escalator. Would have been more in keeping.
I wasn't sure if they would speak English anyway.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
anyway, they get on the escalator. He's then standing next to this thing, holding it. And of course, people are trying
His
to get
wife
past.
or the suitcase?
His wife is in front of him.
Okay.
He's behind her. They're both with these giant suitcases. A guy tries to sort of shove his way past. He has to move to the side. Anyway, as we start to reach the bottom of the escalator, I'm sort of aware of the fact that they started panicking. They started panicking, these two, because they couldn't work out how to get the things off, right? And suddenly I found myself standing behind the woman, catching her as she fell backwards into my arms, because both of the cases had sort of marooned themselves and got stuck at the bottom of the escalator, and they were wedged next to each other. The escalator was still going. She'd fallen backwards into my arms, and I sort of, in one move, sort of got hold of her underneath her elbows, lifted her back up, and sort of shoved her so that she could get out of the way.
I'm not sure this isn't something that is particular to London Bridge, because I had almost exactly the same scenario where a woman ended up under her massive suitcase.
But
And
these
I had to
suitcases-
shout to somebody to stop the escalator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The suitcases are too big.
Yeah.
You know, they're all on
What do
wheels.
they put in?
They're
What
all
do
on
these people
wheels.
put in them, though?
Fast fashion.
you
A
know,
lot of fast fashion.
I went away for a few days.
For 2 weeks, a bag that big, that'll do it.
I'll take.
Just the yellow Speedos.
When I
Crocs.
was a student many years ago, I went around Europe for about 3 months.
On a tandem.
No. I had a bag. I had a bag.
No, a
that
penny
big.
farthing.
No. I was hitchhiking. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I had a bag about this big. I had a spare pair of pants and a spare T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, you can take more than that
to
now.
high heaven.
No, I washed it every night.
But I mean, you know, you can. I certainly, if I go, I don't go away for long, but I usually just take a bag that you can put into the inside of a plane. You know, it'll fit.
Me too. Always.
You know, so you don't have to check a bag.
I'm
These
not
bags are massive.
What do they
I'm not
put in
convinced
it? What
it's
do
just
people-
clothes. I think, you know, huge bags of peanuts,
Yeah.
vapes, cigarettes,
Yeah, they
loads
could
of
be.
contraband.
Yeah, could be all sorts of contraband that they're selling. But I've noticed lately that nobody any longer has a small case.
Yeah.
No.
And you
They're
get
all
on one of
giant.
those tube trains, right?
And they're all
especially.
really like hard shell type cases, you know.
And usually pink or lilac.
Yeah.
But if you get on one of those trains, the tube trains coming from Heathrow or to Heathrow, Piccadilly line, it's like an assault
And
call.
those are the worst.
So there are thousands of these massive bags. As I say, I want to know what it is that people put in these huge suitcases. You know, like 12 of them for a family.
So here's
for
the
a
thing.
couple.
A suggestion to make. If you have to go through the gate, in other words, your bag is so big,
Right.
that gate costs more. Just saying.
You mean on the tube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
that
gate
right?
should
I don't
cost
mind
more.
that.
That gate should cost more.
I don't mind
Well, it
that.
should cost more, but it doesn't.
Yeah. It should cost
Also,
more.
they should have a great big sign for these people to say, "Don't go on the escalator with this because you might die."
Yes.
Because these people practically would have perished.
Unless Mike Graham is there to save your life.
And also,
Now, what they
you know
may-
what? I put her back up. She didn't even say thank you. I don't know if she assumed that she'd been saved by some, unknown
shoved her on
force.
the ground again.
Were you wearing that blue?
I could have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it's a little bit TFL. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, what she thinks I was working there? Maybe.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Not CFL.
It's a French
I
blue,
do have a
isn't it?
free pass.
TFL jacket.
I took the badge
It
off it.
doesn't look like
Took the badge off it.
TFL.
So, Kev, Ozempic.
I just want to say that, you know, when you go to restaurants and you order a dish and somebody orders something else, and you look at it, you get really jealous because they ordered
Food
bush
envy.
you. So I'm jealous of people with oversized suitcases for a grump. It's one of those ones where I just thought, that is brilliant, you know. It's something I'm very annoyed about, but I hadn't quite identified.
So what are you saying?
So here's the mic.
Are you saying that your Ozempic one is rubbish?
No,
all right.
not by necessarily by extension.
let's have
in fact, Ozempic isn't connected to large suitcases at all.
No, you
but
don't need a
it is
suitcase.
driving me.
Well, if you're not on Ozempic, you may need a larger suitcase for your larger clothes.
Well, maybe it's possible, but Ozempic is driving me nuts. All these fat jabs. You pick up the newspapers every day. You know, every other page. The Daily Mail. There's nothing else in it now except I tried Ozempic. Oh, the weight I lost on Ozempic. The weight I put back on when I stopped taking Ozempic. The secrets that I could tell you about Ozempic. All the damn
the
time.
dangers of
I'm
Ozempic.
seeing the dangers. My Ozempic diary.
Right.
The benefits of Ozempic.
Yeah. So it's not just Ozempic, it's all those other
Goes on
ones
and
as
on.
well.
Yeah.
But I am so bored with fat jab drugs. You know, I'm sick to death of them. So
The best one was the other week on
Isn't
the front
Christo,
page of the Times. So they
Christo,
said,
who used to work here, he's become a poster boy for,
He has.
for the fat
well, I
jab,
wouldn't
hasn't
call
he?
him a poster boy.
yeah.
But he's lost a lot of weight, though.
But
hasn't
you
he?
can tell people that are taking it. I mean, you can look around and just see people who are taking it.
Like
right?
you.
I'm not, as you can probably tell.
No, but here's the thing.
I'm immune to it.
Look,
I've tried it, literally.
Doctors I know, it wasn't going to get me.
No.
But doctors I know just say,
we
look,
need
they
James
haven't
Corden.
tested this stuff.
Right.
They haven't tested
No, not at
fat
all.
jab drugs properly yet. And I read something yesterday that you lose 10% of your weight, right?
Yeah.
40% of the weight you lose is from your muscles
Yeah.
and your bones. Now, count me out. I'm not
But hold
taking
on a
that.
second. There's that whole thing as well that it's great for a longevity thing if you take a
But this is what
certain
they're
dose.
saying.
That,
No, this is the thing that on the Times the other day they said, "Oh, if you're recovering from cancer, this will help you live longer." It's all crap.
Help
It's
you
rubbish.
help you
How do
cut
they
back
know
on
that?
drinking, help you stop
How do they
smoking.
know that?
See, the problem with it is it's another thing that we're given that removes any sense of responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So you are putting too much food into your mouth. I saw a great one the other day. It's like, I'm not overweight. I'm a couple of meals ahead and a couple of turds behind everybody else.
Yeah.
Here's why you see so much in the paper saying, oh, Ozempic, it'll help you give up smoking, it'll help you cut back drinking, it'll help you live forever. You know why you see all that? Because the company that owns Ozempic and all the other fat jab drugs, they're based in Denmark. They have a bigger economy than Denmark. It's the richest company in the world, and they use all that money for a daily massive publicity blitz about how wonderful Ozempic is.
Yeah.
We're all being conned, if you ask me.
I mean, obviously, no one round this table is medically trained, and you shouldn't take any advice from us. However,
Yeah. But I know people who are medically trained who've also said exactly what Kevin's saying.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
just
not
don't
properly
go anywhere
tested.
near it.
no,
Don't go
it's
near
like,
it.
It's like, but you know, if you're looking at your social media feed, you are sold a wonder drug all the time. There's some new thing you should be taking. BPC 157 is the one that keeps cropping
really?
up on my feed.
I
at
haven't
the moment.
seen that.
I don't know what the hell that's supposed to do.
It'll be a product made by a very, very rich drug company
Yes. Yeah.
that spends a lot of money getting the message out.
Which you then Google, and it's only been tested on rodents, not humans.
Here's what you don't do, right? So I see my sister about once every 6 months or so. We go out for dinner and that.
Close.
And I saw her about a month ago.
You were quite disparaging about her last time.
No, she says to me, I'm on Ozempic. And I go, yeah, are you? That's not the result. That's not the reaction that people on Ozempic want.
they don't. When they're outing themselves, they want you to notice how much they've lost.
Yeah.
But like James Corden, for example, seemingly he took it and claimed he's immune to it.
Well, I mean,
I've seen pictures of him just now. He is.
He certainly doesn't look any thinner.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, the thing is, what people that have taken it, I know, that have said to me, all it does is it basically means that you don't have an appetite for food or drink anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like
Exactly
that. You know,
right.
the
I
whole
don't
point
want
of
that.
life is that you want to enjoy it.
It's terrible
Exactly
for the
right.
hospitality industry.
Yeah.
It's terrible for pubs.
Right.
Because you don't want to drink when you're on it.
And you don't want to eat.
Now, a while ago,
point of that? Who
I
was that?
lost a significant amount of weight a while ago by proper means.
Yes.
And the problem with it is, and this is what happens, is when people they get kind of addicted to the whole thing, and it's like they're injecting away. And what happens is they suddenly realise, body or face, you can't have both.
No.
Especially if you are over a certain age.
Yeah.
Now, when I lost a load of weight, I had people coming up to my wife asking me how long I had left.
Oh dear.
And how long did you have left?
Luckily, ages.
Yeah.
Well,
But this is
you
the
don't
other
really
thing.
know how long ago was this?
Well, 5 years ago.
Well, you might be 6 years. Maybe your days are numbered.
Whoa,
That's
hold on a
cheering,
second.
isn't it?
Jeez.
I
You know
mean,
what? I'm going
but
to
you
move
saw-
on to my own grump here now.
You saw
Go
what
on.
happened to Sharon Osbourne. Sharon Osbourne got so thin that she was very unwell.
Yes.
And you're right about because I spoke to
Well, there's
doctors
people
about
giving
this.
themselves pancreatitis.
If you don't do a certain amount of exercise, your muscles will actually waste
Yes.
away.
Yes. Yeah.
And you won't have any anymore.
I just think people should be careful with this stuff. But mainly, I'm bored. I'm so bored of fat jab drugs.
it's the new drug, isn't
Yeah, it's
it?
just so boring.
Something else will come along soon.
I'm
Don't
going to
worry.
write to the editor of the Daily Mail and say, could you do a few more features on Ozempic, please?
Yes. We're missing a feature. There's been a day gone
Yeah.
past where there was no Ozempic feature.
I think you only did 3 pages yesterday. You've got to up your game.
Yeah, seriously.
What I want to talk about is poo bags.
Poo bags.
We are all dog owners.
We are.
Are we not? Now, what I do not understand about other dog owners is they carry a poo bag,
Yeah.
their dog poos, they put the poo in the poo bag, and then they hang it on a tree.
Yeah, why?
Do they?
But they hang
Yeah,
it on
I've
a
never
tree.
seen
That's no good.
Or just drop it at the bottom of
There's
the
no
hedge.
point then, is there?
No.
What's the point?
Yeah.
You might as well have left the turd there.
Yes. Because at least it would degenerate and it's
Yeah,
of its own
yeah.
accord as
Yes,
opposed to being
exactly.
inside a
It would
plastic
have
bag.
it would have brought back childhood memories for all of us of sun-dried dog poo.
White.
Yeah.
White
Right.
dog poo,
Yeah, white
which is
dog
no
crap,
longer
yeah.
a thing.
Or rolling in it,
Yes,
you know.
I,
by
I
mistake.
never rolled in it.
Well, I never did it deliberately, but I mean, quite often.
It wasn't a hobby.
No. I've got a funny story about that. That's about
Get together with your friends,
It's
bit of
about, the
dog
canal,
crap rolling.
it's about the canal round the back in Edinburgh, but it wasn't when I was a child.
It's a
Sorry.
Yeah, you were saying, Mark.
Couldn't wear the suit to the
Poo
office.
bags.
Shocking.
no, but that I do not understand. What is the point in just poo bags if that's
Right.
what you're going to do with it?
Yeah.
You know, I live in.
So it's not specifically poo bags you're objecting to. It's the
Yeah,
way
no.
the way people use them.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
The way we use them, I think, is good.
Yes.
To take it off the pavement or wherever
Exactly.
and put it into a bin.
But don't-
If you're hanging it in a tree, I don't
But
really get
the
it.
worst one is, I mean, like, you know, the kind of the subtle throw by the
Yeah,
hedge.
yeah.
I can understand. But the
Right.
proud, look what I've done. The proud hanging on a tree.
Yeah.
Are you educationally subnormal?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, I think a lot of people do that because they don't see a bin, right? Because a lot of places where you take
Yeah,
a dog
yeah,
for
yeah.
a walk, you don't see a bin. And generally speaking, you don't want to walk around with it for a long time.
No, there
And
is-
I've seen people dropping it, say, for example, in order to pick it up on the way back. Which
Yeah,
is
I get
fine,
that, yeah,
which
so-
is all right. And I've seen that as well and I've done it at the beach sometimes. If I'm on a bit of the beach where I'm a bit far away from a bin, what I'll do is I'll leave it just by one of the
By a
groins.
rock or something, yeah.
Well, by one of the fences. you know,
Okay,
the
yeah,
groins.
yeah.
Do you
And then
think
I'll
that's
pick it
what
up.
they're hanging it in a tree to get it on the way back?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I think most of the people that are doing that are doing it on a regular
it's
basis.
decorative.
And it's kind of, you know.
Sort of like a really bad Christmas tree.
Yeah, like, what's that
Because I
Mexican-
wouldn't hang it somewhere. If I'm going to pick it up later, I'll just put it somewhere and then pick it up.
What's that Mexican thing where you...
A piñata.
Piñata. So you could do it with poo bags,
a
which would
poo-yata.
give a whole new
Poo-yata.
dynamic to the game, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm excited now because we've got an update from Mike Graham.
Yes, well, you might remember, just last week I told you the tale of my smart meter experience.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
I waited
wonder what
4
this
hours.
was.
I waited 4 hours, right? Remember, and the guys didn't come. They didn't call. So today, actually, was the day that they'd rearranged to come. And I'd managed to get them down. I said, I'm not waiting another 4 hours. You can forget that. There was a bit of a spat on Twitter, which I complained about, you know, and so they suddenly jumped to it. And so they agreed that it would be a 2-hour window. So I thought, great. At least that's not as bad. So, but I had heard nothing. You know, normally the last time, the day before, they rang to say, make sure you've got everything ready, access to the meter and everything, and that you're in, and you're going to be in. We're going to turn
You're
off the
clothed,
electricity,
that
make
kind
sure
of
everything,
thing.
yeah, clothed, everything's fine. They did ask about the password again. do you want a password? I said, no, it's not necessary. Anyway.
We've been down that road.
So nobody that's not a safe
Password. Safe word.
Safe word.
Pineapple.
No,
let's not go around that circle
so
again.
I'm sitting there today, and it's getting up to 2 o'clock, and I'm thinking, this is never happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. I haven't heard from anyone. I literally, I'm not doing it anymore. And I'd already in my mind decided that if they don't call or come, I'm just never gonna pay the bill again. If they start charging me more money, I'm not gonna pay.
Take a stand.
Sure enough, at 2 minutes to 2, the phone goes, unknown caller, and it was the guy. Oh. And he said, I said, oh, great. I said, are you here? He said, I'm about 15 minutes away. I said, brilliant, fantastic. So I thought, this is great because it means I'll be able to actually get it all done and get back and come in time to record all this. So I said, just call me when you get downstairs because my buzzer doesn't work. So he calls me, and I walk downstairs, put my shoes on, go downstairs. He's already in the building. He said the door was open. I went, great. So he's already opened the doors where all the collective things are. And he goes, yeah, I see. You've only got the 1 metre then. I said, yeah, I've only got the 1 metre. I don't know much about electricity, to be honest. No. I've only really seen the meter about 3 times in my life because I used to never bother doing the readings on the grounds it's their job, Yeah. Anyway, he goes, it's one of the old-fashioned ones. He said, you don't really have 2 different readings. You've only got 1 reading because the cheaper reading doesn't move, which means you're not on a tariff with 2. I said, what does that mean? He said, it means we don't have to change the meter. I said, sorry? He said, we don't have to change it. I went, so you're going to do nothing then? He went, yep. He said, that's what I recommend. He said, I'll take a picture of it. He said, unless you really want a smart meter. I said, no, I don't want a smart meter.
No, you didn't want one in the first place.
I didn't want one in the first place. I said, I'm only doing this because people said if I didn't do it, I might not have any electricity. He said, well, that's not true. And I went, you're the engineer. And he went, yeah. And so, as a result, I'm quite happy. And they then rang me later and said, did everything work out all right?
See, this is why I think we are providing a public service.
Yeah.
Because the thing now would be, if they go, you need a smart meter, go down, take a picture of it and go, do I?
Really? Yeah.
Save yourself the engineer coming out or ruining 2 days of my life.
Because I thought to myself, because then I said to him, well, he said they might want to change it at some point in the future, but only if you want a smart meter. And I said, well, I don't really. I said, well, what if you put it in now? And he went, well, it would take me until about 4 o'clock. I said, don't bother.
Yeah. I think don't want one of them
there is another grump in there, which is anything that is preceded by smart invariably isn't.
Smart
like a smart motorway, a smart meter.
Smart car.
Smart arse.
True, good point.
Smart arse, good, yeah. I see what you mean there. Yeah, anyway, so that's the end of the story for the moment.
Well, I mean, we look forward to the story.
I think it's a happy ending.
Happy ending.
This is a happy ending.
It is.
I'm happy.
I'm happy.
No, hold on. No,
we're all happy.
No, I'm grumpy. And I tell you what I'm grumpy about. Mumbling.
Mumbling?
When did mumbling become a form of communication or a form of acting?
Yeah.
Well,
it was probably about the time when you forgot it was me first doing a Soccer Free Saturday.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. Let's do mumbling.
Let's do mumbling?
Let's do mumbling.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to do...
No, let's do mumbling. It's fine.
I think we should do mumbling.
It's a good one.
Because you've managed to make Kev grumpy, which is good.
Yeah, good. Well,
it's the whole point of the show.
More grumpy?
Yeah.
Who specifically...
You're not too upset, though.
No.
I don't want you to go over.
In time, I'll get over it. I'll learn to cope.
All right.
But
maybe some breathing exercises.
What specific mumbling has got your goat?
Well, firstly, my son, who is 18.
Well, they mumble a lot.
But it's like... and you go, look, you're going to need to use your words.
Yeah.
Not a series of noises. Oh, it's just your 55-year-old ears.
Right.
It's like, no, you're mumbling.
Do you get a lot of... I've already told you.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
I've already told you.
Get a lot of that.
But moreover, and I think we get, as an ex-TV critic, you will identify with this, Kev. Going back, I think the first show was The Wire.
You're talking about mumbling on screen. It's a massive problem. Massive problem.
Mumbling on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to put the volume up and you invariably had to put subtitles on as well.
Yeah.
And there is nothing...
Because you've got mumbling and kind of dialect.
Yeah, mumbling
American
and
extreme
patois.
accents.
Yeah.
But it's so commonplace now. Even when, you're interacting with somebody in a shop or something like that, and I don't know whether it is because people are used to speaking into amplified things that make them
or just not speaking.
Or just not speaking.
A lot of people don't speak much because they don't either go out. They communicate only by text or by WhatsApp or something like that. I mean, a lot of the young kids that work in our business now are frightened of making phone calls. They don't make phone calls. They don't ring anyone.
Absolutely.
They don't want to talk to anyone.
What do they do?
Well, they
send text
it's all
messages
by social
or
media.
emails, I've sent him a text. And we go, when you ring him, ring somebody.
Snapchat.
That sort of rocks their boat. Why don't you actually pick up the phone and ring
don't
them?
I have that?
Then they'll ring the person, and the person will pick up, and they'll organise the interview. So you go, there you go. You just ring them. They go, that was great.
I've sent 2 emails and 3 WhatsApps, and they've ignored me.
Yeah.
Have you thought of
It's all DMs on X and
I know, it's
Facebook
shocking. So I think people have maybe forgotten the art of speech.
Well, certainly enunciation.
Yes.
But with actors, it's a real problem. Anthony Hopkins said you get all these actors, particularly in Hollywood, who kind of think it's cool to mumble. It makes their performances seem more authentic. And he said, what is the point? He said, what is the point of being given a great script? You're in a great movie, and then you deliver the lines in a manner that's completely inaudible to the audience. They can't hear you. So what is the point? There are 2 characters in EastEnders. One was played by Martin Kemp, and the other one was a sort of London Italian guy. I can't remember his name, but they were all...
Gino,
Gino, the stallion, Italian stallion. So they would stand at the bar in the Queen Vic.
Yeah.
Both would go, and so they were. I was doing my TV crit. We used to call them the horse whisperers,
right,
because you couldn't hear a damn word.
Well, I mean, Marlon
said.
Brando made a career out of it, didn't he?
He did. But basically, speak up. But we can let Kev speak now.
Soccer-free Saturday.
Soccer.
So this is
football free.
This is football-free Saturdays. This is a personal lament. People who don't like football won't appreciate it, but for me, as of last weekend, we've entered the dark months, the empty months, and I'm connected to my childhood in one way. It's football, match day, Saturday, all that. I still get really excited about that. And when the football season ends, as it did last weekend, and then there's no football on Saturdays, I just hate it. I hate Saturdays.
What are you going to do instead?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
What do I do?
I just
kind of
Grumpy. I bet he's grumpy
just
around
shuffle
the house.
around.
What about a
shuffle
bit of
around.
DIY? That picture that she's wanted hung for ages.
No, I don't do any of that. God no. I just sort of like
lunch.
I do a bit of lunch. Yeah,
A bit of lunch.
and I try a bit
longer lunch.
I try and watch the golf on the telly, but I like golf on the TV, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same as physical, because you go to quite a lot of the games.
Of course I do. Yeah, I enjoy
and
going.
that's part of the kind of, I suppose, the thrill.
Yeah, I mean,
I love going to the games, but when I don't go, when Fulham are away and I can't be asked to go to an away game, I'll watch Gillette Super Saturday on Sky, and I just love just all the results coming in and all these. Notts Forest just gone 1-0 up. Stuff.
Have you thought of a different hobby? You could take up a hobby, macrame maybe. Something like that.
Well,
I will.
Play
Tapestry.
You could play golf.
You could play golf. Yeah.
Takes a long time.
I mean, look, it's something else to be grumpy about. You could be grumpy about a new hobby.
Yeah. So I won't feel that my life is complete until the last week of.
Are you counting down the days?
Well, sort of. Last week of August. That's when it starts. 25th of August.
We'll be counting those days with Kev.
It's a long way off, isn't it?
It is. It's a nightmare. It's a tragedy.
Look, I'm sorry. That's it for this week.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it. We're going to have to call
it's
time
a really
on this.
sad ending.
It's a sad ending, but we'll
Blow the
cope.
whistle.
We'll cope. I'm blowing the final whistle on that. Big thanks, of course, to Kev and Mike for being grumpy with me. Until next week, stay miserable.